don't wear brown and orange, you don't matter.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
Well, buddy boy, I want you to get excited here.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma.
Okay, listen up, people. I'm going to turn you clowns into a football team.
To the best fans, the most patient fans in the league, the Browns are going to win.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Today, not exactly the same feeling as the last couple of weeks.
Not quite.
Definitely not Victory Monday today.
I mean, it is for some people.
It's
just not us.
It's definitely not us. We're back. Now, I don't know how much was...
YouTube saying they're not getting enough. I don't know. It might be live.
Okay.
It could be live.
All right. Well, you know what?
We'll keep going until someone tells us we're not live.
It's just like, when nobody's talking to me in the truck and I'm out there shooting, I'm just going to pretend it's live. I'm just going to shoot it like it's live. Yep. That's what I'm going to do.
You know who else should pretend it's live?
Who's that?
The Browns.
Yeah. They didn't show up on Sunday. They went there. They were present. They were present.
Yeah.
They walked into Heinz Field and immediately found the woodshed and then walked behind it and got throttled back there.
I think they almost administered their own beating.
Well, they did in many ways. It was bad. It was just a bad football game. It was a bad experience all the way around. Obviously, it leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
Yes.
And it's no fun. Today is clearly not as fun as the last few weeks. I prefer Victory Monday, not ass-beating Monday, which is what this is.
Yes, it is.
And a pretty humiliating fashion, too. There's a lot of reasons why this is bad. On one hand, listen, it's one game. It's just one game. It's one loss, and that really is how you have to look at it and how you have to approach it. But it's kind of not, because this was one of those games where we were kind of hoping to see this team maybe make some progress, and really, even if they would have put up a fight, it would have been okay. But what happened here was they got destroyed, and it kind of makes you pump the brakes on all of the excitement and all the feel-goodness of the season. Everything going okay over there?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. You look a little...
Well,
you look a little worried. You look a little verklempt.
Things look the way that they look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Your camera doesn't look good.
That's exciting. Oh, my camera doesn't...
No.
Oh, okay.
It's very dark.
Oh, my camera's very dark. Maybe can we have social media Jessica maybe iris up a little bit? Yeah. We have she's a professional camera person.
Camera peoples?
We have people with skills all over the place in here. We'll see what we can do with that. Let's take a look.
Yeah,
listen,
that's good.
that's it. How about now? Let's bring it up there. How's that shot look now? Let's take a look.
Right now?
Is it better? See, that's much better.
It is much better.
That's much better.
Yeah.
I am one handsome fella.
I don't know that I'd go that far.
I don't know that I would go that far either. It's clearly not the case. In any event, though, listen, they there's clearly separation between how good the Cleveland Browns are and how good the rest of the AFC North is with the people at the top, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Because in the two games that we played them, they have beat us by a combined score of 78-15.
I was trying to do the math in my head.
Yeah, is that right? 78? Yeah, 30.
No, 78 to 13, not 15.
13, correct. Yeah.
Because it was 7 and 6, right?
38. They both scored 30, so it was 38. Yeah. I can't add. I'm not adding.
You scored 6 against Baltimore and 7 against.
So 78-13 is what we are outscored by the two undefeated. Well, I don't know. Is Baltimore still undefeated?
No.
I can't even remember. I don't know what's going on. I got so angry about the game yesterday that I just completely lost interest in everything football related, and I don't even know what's going on right now. But the point being is that
Sean says it's working.
that's a pretty good. Oh, well, that's excellent to know. That's a pretty big gap. And, again, it is depressing. It's deflating. I know that I went into the game. I was incredibly excited. I couldn't, like at noon, I'm like, oh, kick the ball. I don't want to wait another hour. I want to play this game. I want to see where we're at. And I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that.
The game started okay.
Well, the game started. It started. I don't know. Obviously, the pick six at the beginning there, and we're going to get into Baker here a lot because there's a lot of talk about Baker Mayfield's play. Listen, I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going. Everybody knows my stance on Baker Mayfield. I'm not going to defend his play. It was bad. I'm still going to defend him right now overall. And there's a lot of Browns fans that are not, and I get it, that are not behind Baker. And I think for a lot of people, you're not going to change your mind. It's like trying to, at this point in time, it's like trying to convince somebody, who to vote for, right now. And everybody's got their minds made up, and you can't do it. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince people who hate Baker Mayfield to really like Baker Mayfield, because that's not going to happen. But I have, a certain viewpoint on it. I think that there's a lot of things that are still taking away from Baker Mayfield. But at the same time, I'm not going to make excuses. He played a bad game. And that pick six is pretty unacceptable. You can't have that kind of a throw in the NFL. I mean, he never even saw Minkah Fitzpatrick come down. He never saw him.
No.
And as a quarterback, when you're going up to the line, the first thing that you should be doing is reading the safeties and seeing where they are.
Yeah.
That's what you want to look at first.
Well, and it didn't help. And since I was going to say the NFL gods smiled on me this week, but they definitely didn't.
Yeah, you had a rough go of things, too.
I was able to watch the two teams that I care about watching.
And they both let you down.
They
really bad.
But so we were texting during the game, and in that replay, you saw him. He was staring left the whole way. The whole way.
No
clue what was happening on the right half of the field.
No.
And just
whoop. And it just I don't know how you throw that football. I don't understand. And those are some of the things that really are frustrating with Baker Mayfield. He's prone to do that.
Yes. This is the bad Baker we talked about a lot last season.
Absolutely bad Baker. I will say this, though. He was injured coming into the game. I know people can be like, I don't want to hear it. But no, it's a factor. Sorry. I mean, let's not lie about it. It was clearly affecting him. And
if Tom Brady gets to use injuries as an excuse, I think we can let Baker.
I'm not going to go as far as to say it's an excuse, because obviously his sore ribs had nothing to do with that pick six. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
That's just a terrible decision overall. Right. But some passes just weren't getting there. And also, I mean, he was assaulted back there in that all day. It was just the pocket was collapsing and nothing was happening. J.J. Watt is a really, really good football player, and I'm not going to say that he's not a good football player. I'm just saying that maybe, if you attempt to block him, he wouldn't be so disruptive.
You know what else would have been a big factor? If J.J. Watt would have been playing in the game yesterday.
Yeah, did I say J.J.?
You said J.J.
Oh, I'm sorry, T.J. Whatever, everybody knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Not his big brother.
No, but, I mean, he looked an awful lot like his big brother yesterday.
And he's an excellent player, too. And here's the thing. He didn't even have any sacks in the game.
No.
But he was so disruptive. I know he had a couple of hits in the backfield. Mm-hmm. He had one big, stuffed a big run there. You've got to be able to contain a guy like that. And our offensive line, that has played exceptionally well all season long, was absolutely throttled in that game. Pittsburgh came, and their defense took it to us. I mean, they did.
Yes.
They brought him. That was pretty clear to me from the beginning. We got away from our identity, again, of running the football, and we do this from time to time. We looked exactly in this game the same way that we did against Baltimore, and we got the exact same result. And I understand that Nick Chubb is missing, and he is clearly clearly missed. Last week we were like, hey, we miss him, but we got to win. And we're like, all right, maybe we can get by without him. And today it really, really hurt because our run game was absolutely stuffed. And when our run game gets shut down, you have to ask the offense to start doing a bunch of other things. And we're not good at those other things just quite yet. Is part of that Baker Mayfield? Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. And he's got to play better, and I think he'll be the first person to admit he has to play better. But he came into the game, he was injured, and then he kept getting more and more injured while he was back. He was beaten up in that game yesterday. And that's ultimately what led to, Stefanski bringing in Case Keenum at the end of the game. There's no sense in risking more. Just play that around. That's fine.
Well, other people are pointing out that they can't hear me either.
Well.
Oh, so you listen to other people when they say it, but when I tell you that, okay.
I apologize greatly. Okay. So okay, Kevin. Okay, Kevin. Okay.
But no, I think you're spot on there. I think a lot of it goes to, I don't know how much of it is lack of preparation by Stefanski, though. If you have a game plan that just doesn't work, it doesn't mean you didn't come up with one.
Well, true.
The ability to execute it is half the game plan.
It's execution, and then it's also you need to make adjustments as well, though, as a coach. If your game plan's getting blown up by the other team, you can't just go, well, I don't know what to do now. You got to come up with something. Yeah. And this is where, again, Stefanski is a new coach. This is his first go around at this. So there's a learning curve for him. A lot of the things that are happening right now, I know the Browns fans are frustrated when they see this sort of stuff, but I keep trying to explain to people that we're going to have to deal with this a little bit. He is a new coach. There is a little bit of a learning curve that's going on there. So it's very difficult to get really, really angry at him, but he was underprepared, I think, and I do feel like we're not on the internet anymore. Is that what happened?
We're apparently on and off. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's good.
Trying again? Third time's a charm?
Third time's a charm.
Maybe.
We'll keep this going. Listen, folks, we don't know what's going on. We got a lot of gremlins here pulling wires and stuff like that. I think that there's some rats chewing on things right now. I don't know.
It's a series of tubes, and I think sometimes the tubes get
Did it get
clogged.
full? It was the full?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I get it. I'm just going to blame you because I have no idea. So I have to lash out, and that's how I feel right now.
Okay.
Again, I don't know where exactly we dropped out at, but I was just discussing the growing pains of Stefanski, of having a rookie head coach. He's certainly not a rookie coach, but first go around here as a head coach, and you have to be able to adapt and make changes. And I don't think that we just did a very good job of that. Like I was saying, we came out in this game exactly the same way that we did against the Ravens. And that seemed to be the way things were going. I don't know if it was just the game plan or clearly the Steelers shut us down in what we were doing, but what we did after that also did not work. I don't know if we made the right adjustments. I think a lot of the throws that we were trying to do were long developing routes, and that requires Baker Mayfield to hold on to the football a little bit longer, which I don't think was a very good plan of attack with the way that the Steelers defensive line was pinning its ears back and just coming after us. There was a lot of pressure all game long, and you have to be able to make better decisions than that. Short, quick throws would be great. Something other than what we were doing, because they shut down our run game and they brutalized Baker Mayfield in the backfield there. And it was just all the way around. It was a terrible performance by the team. And when you're trying to establish yourself as a winning team, this game really, really felt like a setback. It was not fun to see, but the Browns are just going to have to lick their wounds on this one. They're going to have to take it. And just like they did against Baltimore, now how are we going to respond?
Right.
Going forward, are we going to hang our heads here and say, the top two teams in our division have waxed us, we're not as good as we thought we were, boo-hoo, or are you gonna come back? Now, going forward, Baker Mayfield there's gonna be a lot of people looking at him now. Yeah. I know that, not that this matters because I don't listen to really anything that the man says, but Stephen A. Smith tore him apart in completely ridiculous fashion.
The same guy that was all about him when they beat the Cowboys. That same Stephen A. Smith.
That same Stephen A. Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember to care about what he says. Going forward.
I really don't. But I think that the reason why I bring him up though in his take is because again, a lot of people in Cleveland are coming after Baker Mayfield right now, and I told you I'm not going to defend his play in this game, but I'm still going to defend him.
Right.
And here's why. And I touched on this previously, but I guess maybe, I'm not trying to convince anybody here. I'm just giving you my take on why I still believe in Baker Mayfield and why I'm still going to have faith in him going forward. Again, people really don't seem to understand that Baker Mayfield having 4 head coaches, 4 quarterbacks coaches, 4 offensive coordinators, and 3 systems in 3 years is a really, really big deal because he has not had any continuity. There hasn't been any ability to grow and settle into his position. It's been very, very sketchy for him. It's been a huge disservice. The perfect example that I could give is Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are talking about him this year because he's playing really good football this year. Obviously, same draft class. They came in together. There was a lot of talk pre-draft who was the best quarterback in there. And we're seeing that Josh Allen is really starting to flourish now because Josh Allen is in his 3rd year of the same system, and he's getting to that point now where what he can do is just go play and not think.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to sit there constantly going through his mind where everybody should be, what the play, this and that. He can just go out and play.
It's automatic.
And when you can get to that point, that's when you start to become a really good quarterback. That's when your talent that you have can just take over and you can just go spin it. And I still believe that Baker Mayfield has all the talent in the world. He can make all the throws. He's mobile. But he, again, is 6 games now into another system.
Right.
He's still thinking. He's still learning. He hasn't had the opportunity to develop properly as a quarterback. We talked about it a few weeks ago when I brought up Alex Smith. It's not that Alex Smith is a bad quarterback. Alex Smith spent 7 years with 7 different offensive coordinators and 7 offensive systems. And that's why his career kind of went the way that it did. He could have been a great quarterback in the NFL if he was given the proper, development and proper time to do so and do things the right way.
Right.
What we've done has not been conducive to success for Baker Mayfield. And I want people to just understand that because it is a much, much bigger factor than what they think. Oh, he sucks. I hate that take. Well, he's just a terrible quarterback. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's scared. It's not that. There's a lot of thinking and there's a lot of, where am I going with this ball instead of just going out and playing. And it's a big, big factor in what he does out there on the field. Now, I will say that as a 3rd-year quarterback, a 3rd-year player, there are some things that he should know, that he should have learned. And when you see those mistakes repeating themselves, that's when you can get frustrated with him. And I'm not going to argue with people on that because that pick 6 that he threw, that you cannot make that throw.
Yeah.
And
that's not, I don't know what the play is. That's not, I'm uncomfortable here. That's quarterbacking mistakes.
Yeah, that's just bad play. And I'm not going to defend that. Everybody does it. Every quarterback in the league is going to make those throws.
Right.
How many times are you going to make them in a year? If Aaron Rodgers is an example.
He made a few yesterday.
Yeah, and he's going to.
One of them was a tip ball, so we'll give him some credit there. But
I guess my point, though, is for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, he's going to do something like that 4 times in a season.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's just going to make a bad read and a bad throw. And you know what I mean? Like, for him, 4 times would probably be excessive. You know what I mean? Whereas Baker Mayfield, he's kind of doing it semi-regularly. Sometimes some of the throws some of his interceptions this year were good plays by the defense, tip balls. I know that there was one where it was just a bad route run by the receiver.
And those happen. Those happen to any quarterback.
Right, and you have to live with that. That's not bad quarterback play. That pick 6, bad quarterback play. Yes. And you cannot have that. And I don't think that it's going to be something that Baker is never going to be able to shake. I don't think that it's something, I don't see it happening as bad as what other people seem to see it happening.
Well, and let's just look at how he's played so far this season. It has been a much more consistently good Baker.
It has.
Than we saw last year, for sure.
Yeah.
Was it frustrating to see a lot of those mistakes pop up in one game?
For sure.
Sure. But he was far from the only one having a bad day.
And to top it all off, and again, this is, I wish I could do highlights on this show, man. But, just watching the broadcasting, a lot of times when people watch football games, they have a tendency to just watch the ball.
Right.
We're all guilty of it. I know that I certainly am. But on a lot of the replays, I was making sure I'm just watching what's going on down the field as much as possible. And we were covered. Pittsburgh was just all over us. And you have to, at that point, you have to start tipping your cap to the defense. And you're saying, hey, man, everybody wants Baker to make plays and make throws. But if they're not there, they're not there. What can you do? Yeah. You can start forcing the football, and guess what happens then?
Bad things.
Incompletions.
Had a first dairy and a secondary.
What's that?
They had a first dairy and a secondary.
They had that. Yeah, they did.
They got them both.
I mean, and I hate singing the praises of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they're very well coached. Mike Tomlin always has them ready to go, and they played well. They were just everywhere. They were just a clearly better football team than we were, and our first dairy, once again, was just completely shredded. Our
Tom, that's the 30 seconds you want to go back and clip and just play on a loop.
I mean, I'm not gonna make stuff up. I'm gonna call it like I see it. But that's the first area is just so bad. And once again, Kevin, our favorite player, the greatest player on the Cleveland Browns right now, Andrew Sendejo. Holy shit! Is this guy a bad football player?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on a couple of points here.
Sure.
Kevin Stefanski.
Yes.
Came from the Vikings.
He came from the Vikings.
Okay. And Andrew Sendejo
came from
the Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did he not know he was terrible? Now, I get that in the Cleveland system, he doesn't have a lot of say necessarily in who gets picked up and who doesn't. But
yeah, I
feel like they would listen to his insight there.
And I have to think that that's probably why he's here. I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't know why he's here. I don't know why he brought him here. But
I don't know why he's still.
I mean, I texted you during the game because there's a particular play where it was just a running play. It was just a running play.
Is very good.
And I see Sendejo fly into the backfield like he was shot out of a gun, and like he was on ice skates, just fly right past the running back and stop probably 10 yards in the backfield, and he never even touched the running back. And
there he is.
And there he goes. And the running back didn't juke him.
No.
He didn't deke him.
Nope.
He just went, oh, hey. And then started running. And that exemplifies like every single play that this man makes for the Cleveland Browns. He doesn't make plays.
No.
He's fast. I'll give him that. He's a quick, fast player, but he's fast at being terrible and just not doing anything.
Maybe that's his excuse for being out of position so much. I just ran right past him.
And it's always bad angles. Bad angles are the worst. Did you have the graphic? Did you have the picture of the Hans Gruber graphic?
Oh, I don't have that.
Okay.
Well, I kind of do.
Because that's what I said. I texted Kevin yesterday, and I said the expression on his face on every play, he looks like Hans Gruber right when he was just getting dropped off at Nakatomi Tower. It's just, and I don't know what else to say about this guy other than he should not be anywhere near a football field. I know that we're banged up in the defensive backfield. I know that we are. I get it. But we have to do anybody at this point. Anybody else is better than Andrew Sandejo because he is an absolute liability in every way, shape, or form.
Hold on, I'm almost there.
Oh, what are you looking for?
I'm getting that graphic.
Oh, you're getting the graphic up?
Except I didn't even actually download it on
Oh,
here, so
Kevin, look at
no,
Kevin.
we're not.
Boo, Kevin.
If you care about the graphic as much as Mike does, it will actually be the YouTube thumbnail for this video.
It's a funny thing.
I do, however, have for us a little bit of we're just going to roll good, bad, and ugly all into one.
Yeah, all into
just
one because this is all correct.
Lot.
There was nothing good. I like that. I give you credit for putting the score as the bad.
I had to put something. It was not good.
That genuinely made me bad, and everything was very, very ugly.
You also very specifically requested the chicken laying an egg.
I did because that's what the Browns did. They laid an egg. It's the whole game was depressing, And there's one part too. I think that clearly you could see the tide turning.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh goes up 17-0, then it's 24-0. You're like, all right.
Well, and that's when I sent you that text. I'm like, Pittsburgh scores again. Baker's got to come out.
Yeah, and
he's got to, and they did, which was smart.
The part that really, really upset me was in that game, we had a chance to get back into this game at one point. We score a touchdown.
End of the second quarter.
Yeah, we score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. We hit Hollywood Higgins. All right, we're on the board. We got some points. We get the ball back. The defense stepped up.
Yep.
We get the ball back now. We've got
with
time.
Really good field position.
Good field position, time on the clock, and a couple of timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get something there. You got to get something. And they choked.
Yep.
Come away with no points when if you score a touchdown there, now you're like, all right, now it's 24-14.
And you get the ball
and
in the
you're
second
going
half.
into the half. You're getting the ball back
Yep.
in the second half. If you put a good drive together there, now you're back in this football game.
Yep.
And you have the momentum completely shifted on your side. And you can slug it out with Pittsburgh in the second half. And they just completely folded.
It didn't happen. Yeah.
It just, I think Pittsburgh just seemed to be on top of everything. They knew what they knew what they were doing. They knew what we were doing. And it was all day long. It was just a clinic on how a good football team plays and how a not as good as we thought football team plays. Do I think the Browns are a bad football team now? No, I don't. I think that we're a good team. I still think that we have an opportunity to have a successful season. But one thing I will talk about too, specifically dealing with Cleveland Browns fans, because the Browns fans drive me absolutely out of my mind. Listen, I love my city. I love my football team. I love the fans of my football team.
Sometimes.
But a lot of us are absolutely delusional.
Mental.
Because last
Just
week there were actually people talking about the Super Bowl, which is always just completely insane.
And whether or not they're going to have fans there,
I'm still as of right now, 4-12 is still a thing, and until I see that changing, But people last week were talking about the Super Bowl, and this week people are talking about firing the head coach and getting rid of Baker and starting all over again.
Yeah,
and I can't.
If we tank it from here, could we trade up and get Trevor Lawrence?
It is a completely, it's a level of bipolar disorder that I honestly just cannot digest. Mm-hmm. And people need to stop doing that. They need to stop doing that. And especially when it comes to Baker again too. I mean, that's why I feel the way that I do about him. And why I don't want people, get rid of him. You don't get rid of him. You can't get rid of him. We need him to be, I want him to be the franchise quarterback. I want him to be the face of this team. Mm-hmm. I want him to be successful. And I want him to have the opportunity to grow and learn and become that player. And if we're constantly changing things, it's just, we're spinning our wheels.
Right.
You have to stick to it. And besides, what is the alternative? Because I'm here to tell anybody who thinks that Case Keenum is the answer and is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, you are out of your mind. You have no idea what you're talking about, and you drink gallons of ayahuasca every single day because you are delusional. You're delusional. Yeah. It's not true. Case Keenum is not the answer at quarterback. No. He's not going to be. No. There's a reason he's been a backup almost his entire career. The only thing that Case Keenum is really, really good for, and I'm not knocking him. He's not terrible.
No.
He's a solid quarterback. He's a solid veteran backup. I'm really happy that he's here.
There are plenty of quarterbacks who have made a great career of being a solid
Right.
backup.
And he is a great addition to our quarterback room because
Right.
he knows Kevin Stefanski's system, because where did Case Keenum come from?
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota. He's there to help Baker Mayfield and to get this system installed in Baker's brain and help him learn all of this stuff. And I think that that's a great service to this team, and I think that he is a valuable part of the team there. Starting? No.
Yeah.
Long-term growth? No. I don't know what people want. I don't know what they think. You have got to stick with your quarterback.
Right.
And Baker Mayfield making some bad throws and Baker Mayfield occasionally playing bad games is not what I think enough to warrant benching him and that's it.
No. And I mean, from my perspective, I don't think he was being benched just to bench him. I think Case Keenum was in there to keep him from getting murdered.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, at that point,
I don't think there's any question that Baker's still the guy.
Yeah. And I think that there's a couple of reasons for the him getting sat down in the fourth quarter there. Number one, first and foremost, he was hurt. I mean, he was
getting continually
right,
hurt.
and you don't risk it. And the score was the game was completely out of touch.
Yep.
There's no reason to leave him in there to just keep getting pounded like that and possibly lose him for the rest of the season, because then you have a problem. Now you are talking about Case Keenum being your starting quarterback for the rest of the year. And
that's when you start looking at that 4-12 real hard.
Right, and you do. And because then you have to start, now who's his backup? Come on, we cannot go down this road again.
Well,
and
we all know who his backup is, and in fact was his backup yesterday.
Who are you talking about? Case Keenum's?
Yeah.
Oh, who was? I don't.
Jarvis Landry.
Was it Jarvis?
He's the emergency
I think
quarterback.
he was listed as the emergency quarterback. I was like, oh, geez. And that's what everybody wants to see is Jarvis Landry playing quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. We can't have this. No. And as somebody who's watched this team for 20 years, again, I know what terrible quarterback play looks like.
Right.
Trust me. And everybody in Cleveland does too. We watched it. We saw terrible, terrible quarterback play. We have seen countless
quarterback after quarterback. After
we have seen countless quarterback controversies in Cleveland. I don't want a quarterback controversy, and I'm not seeing terrible play from Baker Mayfield that warrants the number 1 overall pick to be benched. Because once you go down that road,
there's no coming back.
You don't put that toothpaste back in the tube. Once it's out, that's it, and you got a problem. Yeah. The locker room starts getting split. The coaching staff starts getting split. Everything starts getting split. The season goes down.
I feel like at that point, Case Keenum would even be like, "What is this really what we're doing?
Right?
Is this really what we're doing?"
Yeah, and it's just we don't need to go down that road.
No, not at all.
Again, did he have a good game? No, he did not. He played a bad game. I think he went into that game a little bit more injured than what people want to believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then he got hurt even more.
Yeah.
During the game, and that's a factor into it. But again, I'm not defending that pick six. That was garbage. And Baker, come on, baby, you gotta be better than that.
However,
you gotta be better than that.
There were a couple people that you did nominate to be top dogs this week.
Okay, I did. I mean, you got to put somebody in there.
You have to. There are also a few familiar faces in the doghouse.
In the doghouse. Miles, baby. The shirtless Miles Garrett, too.
Like
I mean, the shirtless Miles Garrett. Jeez, that man is... Did you just say ooh? Did you get, like, audibly...
in I'm terrified of this man.
Oh, okay. I didn't... Yeah, he showed up. He got a sack on Ben, but he was, like, double and triple teamed all day, and it was difficult for him to operate there. And Higgins and Baker Mayfield, the chemistry that these two have is really, really good. And it's good to see it again. It was a great play from both of them on the touchdown. So you got to be excited about something there. The doghouse, I'm putting Kevin Stefanski in there because of reasons why I mentioned. I just don't think that we game planned well. I don't think that he made adjustments well. He was clearly outcoached in this game. And I think that his rookiness, is that a word? It is now. I just made it up.
Sure, we'll go with it.
His rookiness absolutely reared its head in this game and cost us very, very dearly. Baker Mayfield's on there because honestly he paid a complete poop game. And the first dairy.
That's why he's walking away sad.
Yeah, the first dairy. I can't.
I think first they're staying there the whole season. They're just going to they're going to be the welcome mat to the doghouse
until they have to do something to prove to me that they can play actual NFL football. And I mean, I said it, early this, it was probably somewhere around the first quarter, because I have, unfortunately, a lot of friends and even family who are Steelers fans. I don't like that, but it is what it is. And some of them were texting me and talking to me, and they're like, hey, the Browns defense is playing really, really good. I'm like, yeah, just wait. Just give it a little bit of time, because Ben Roethlisberger, future Hall of Fame, 2-time Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback, is going to figure out that our defensive first area sucks, and he's going to completely shred them and pick them apart. And no sooner that I said that, he started to do just that. Yeah. And he carved us up like a Thanksgiving turkey. And that's what happened. And I saw it coming. Yeah. I knew it was coming. And every quarterback is going to be doing this now for the rest of the season. And you've got to fix that, because now offensive coordinators, offensive coaches, they know what the weakness is. They know where the chink in the armor is, and they're going to exploit it every single week. And we can't stop them from doing it. Right. We can't. It's clear every week we're getting lit up, and it's got to be able to stop somewhere. So I think it'll help to get Andrew Sandejo off the field.
Our wonderful social media coordinator has passed along a tweet that Sean shared with us. Okay. Did we retweet this from the Barking Lot show? Good. So you can find it at the Barking Lot Show on Twitter as well. 3 quarterbacks in their first 34 games. There's no way for me to read this easily and make it a guessing game, so I'm just going to go through it. So it's Drew Brees. Okay. Brett Favre. Okay. And Baker. Okay. 25, and Favre was 24.
We're talking about age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Attempts. They're all in the neighborhood of 1,100 attempts. Attempts per game. Brees, 31. Baker, 33. Favre, 33. Okay. Yards. Brees, 6,700. Favre, 7,300. Baker, 8,200 yards. Mm-hmm. Okay. Completion percentage. Brees, 60. Baker and Favre, 62. Not bad.
Like those numbers. I like those numbers.
TDs. Brees 38, Favre 41, Baker 56. Interceptions. Brees 34, Baker 37, Favre 40, because he was always in interception machine.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's the road that Baker's going down. How many times have we talked about this? Right. You know what I mean? And I again, that's why I questioned whether or not were there more stats. Did I cut you off there?
The last one was just passer rating 77 for Brees and Favre. Baker at 86.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good stat. It is telling. Now, stats obviously don't tell the entire story. No. And they never do.
Let's check back in 68 games and see where they're at.
Right. And but again, I think that just. It tells me that Baker, again, does have what it takes. He can play this position, and he can play it well and effectively. Again, though, with the the Favre comparison, I'm not comparing him to Brett Favre. I don't want to hear, he's no Brett Favre. Right. I'm not. It's the style of play. And like
Brett
I said,
Favre was hardly a flawless quarterback.
Well, for sure. And I know that there were a lot of people in Green Bay who absolutely adored him, but there were a lot of people in Green Bay that were like, oh man, we lost, and Brett threw 4 interceptions again today. You know what I mean? Like that happened a lot in Green Bay. But it's because of the success that he had that people were able to put up with it. And I think that as long as Baker can do that here, it's going to be very, very similar. Yeah. I'm not going to complain about Baker Mayfield throwing 20 interceptions in a year and making bad decisions and making bad throws if he's consistently getting us to the playoffs and occasionally winning some playoff games and maybe even getting a trophy or two. I'm not going to complain. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll live with that. And that's why I've made the point to you numerous times in here on the show. I just don't know if Cleveland has the psyche to be able to deal with a quarterback
the hits and the
like
misses.
that.
Yeah.
I don't. And clearly by the way that everybody's reacting to him, they just flat out don't.
Right.
I do. I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. I'm good with Baker. Mm-hmm. Just go be wild and whatever, man. Run around like a crazy person if you want to and do some stupid stuff.